The Diddy lawsuit is absolutely crazy. Full stop. What if I told you guys that it is about to get even crazier?
But as far as Meek Mills, Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these all you fake hard you. Hold on. Okay. I don't give because you can't shoot nobody anyway, and the reason why you got to talk is because you did a deal, you fed. You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta come at me, because part of the deal for you to be able to do all that and get out of jail is that you promise that you're gonna go pull my coat car. So y'all shut the up about
Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the door and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what the was going on, but I just heard balls slapping against ass cheeks. I heard struggling to take.
In recent months, Sean Diddy Combs, a titan in the music industry, has been thrust into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. The hip-hop mogul, known for his decades-long influence in entertainment, is now facing a barrage of legal troubles. Several lawsuits have been filed against him, each laden with grave allegations of sexual assault. These lawsuits have not only tarnished his public image, but have also led to intense scrutiny and public discourse about his conduct and the broader issue of accountability for high-profile figures. The controversy took a darker turn with the emergence of a leaked CNN video, which has sent shockwaves through social media and news outlets alike. In this disturbing footage, Diddy is seen physically assaulting his former girlfriend Cassie in a hotel lobby. The graphic nature of the video has intensified public outrage, raising significant questions about why no substantial legal action has been taken against him, despite such clear evidence of violent behavior. The lack of immediate legal repercussions has left many baffled and has led to widespread speculation about potential influences shielding him from justice. Adding fuel to the fire, Candace Owens, a prominent conservative commentator, has stepped into the fray with explosive claims. Owens has alleged that the reason Diddy has managed to evade federal prosecution is due to his supposed connections with federal authorities. According to Owens, these ties have provided him with a layer of protection that ordinary citizens would not enjoy. Her statements have added a new dimension to the ongoing scandal, suggesting that there might be deeper, more insidious reasons behind the apparent inaction from law enforcement agencies. It's interesting what Candace Owens is saying about Diddy being involved with the feds. This isn't exactly a groundbreaking revelation if you've been following the drama in the music industry. You'd know that Kanye West has been shouting about this kind of stuff for quite a while now. Kanye, never one to hold back his opinions, has often hinted at and outright accused various industry figures, including Diddy, of having shady connections and playing by a different set of rules. Kanye's rants might have seemed over the top at times, but with Candace Owens now echoing similar sentiments, it does make you pause and think. Maybe there's more to these stories than just wild conspiracy theories. It's almost like a real-life sex thriller playing out in the entertainment world with high stakes and powerful players. While some people might dismiss Kanye's comments as just another one of his outbursts, the fact that others are starting to say the same things adds a layer of credibility. Or at least, it makes you curious about what's really going on behind the scenes. So when Candace comes forward and says Diddy's got connections that are keeping him out of trouble, it doesn't feel as surprising. It's like Kanye laid the groundwork for this narrative, and now more voices are chiming in. Whether you believe it or not, it's definitely a compelling story, and it keeps you wondering just how deep the rabbit hole goes.
They can't control it. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me. You see, it ain't no name I won't name.
Sometime back, Kanye West took matters into his own hands to prove his suspicions about Diddy's alleged federal connections. In classic Kanye fashion, he turned to Instagram, creating quite a spectacle. Kanye posted a series of screenshots of text conversations between him and Diddy where he directly confronted Sean Combs. In these exchanges, Kanye didn't hold back, accusing Diddy of being involved with the feds and calling him out for what he perceived as shady behavior. The posts were explosive, and as you can imagine, they caused a massive stir on social media. Fans and critics alike were buzzing, dissecting every message and speculating about the implications. Kanye's bold move was more than just a rant. It was an attempt to shine a light on what he believed was a hidden truth about Diddy. He wanted everyone to see that he wasn't just making baseless claims. he was showing receipts, as they say. These Instagram posts added a new layer to the ongoing narrative about Combs. They weren't just accusations thrown into the void, they were personal and direct. Kanye's willingness to expose these private conversations suggested he was deeply convinced of Diddy's connections and felt a need to bring them to public attention. While some people might have written off his post as part of Kanye's usual antics, others saw it as a serious allegation that needed to be considered. Owens recently pointed out that the rapper has long been surrounded by a whirlwind of rumors, making it hard to discern fact from fiction. Over the years, the gossip mill has churned out all sorts of allegations about him. There were persistent whispers about his sexuality, with rumors suggesting that Diddy might be gay. Far more serious were the allegations implicating him in the tragic deaths of rap legends Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur. For a long time, these stories floated around in the background, leaving many unsure of what to believe. Things took a darker turn when allegations of sexual assault surfaced, specifically involving his former girlfriend Cassie. The claims led to a full-blown lawsuit, with Cassie accusing the rapper of physical and emotional abuse. Diddy, however, tried to dismiss the accusations, suggesting that Cassie was motivated by money and not justice. This defense did little to quell the growing unease and skepticism around him, but it seemed like he might manage to sidestep serious repercussions once again. Then came a major twist in the saga. Another lawsuit was filed, this time by a man named Rodney. This new development marked a significant escalation in the allegations against Diddy. Rodney's lawsuit added weight to the accusations, making it much harder for Diddy to simply brush off the claims as baseless or financially motivated.
A man named Rodney Jones has come forward to sue Diddy, and this is not your average lawsuit. I will say right now, many lawsuits are in fact frivolous. I have fought and won frivolous lawsuits. This person, however, his name is Rodney Jones. He lived, traveled, and he worked with Diddy as a producer, and he is alleging that he has hours upon hours of recorded footage and pictorial evidence, which has been included in this document, to support his claims. And I have to say, these claims seem very credible.
And then she went further into what the lawsuit by B. Rodney was about. In case you didn't know, listen to this.
Diddy repeatedly groped him, touching his, I'm sorry to say this, guys, his anus and his crotch without consent, and attempting to groom him into accepting a homosexual relationship by showing him explicit videos of others in Hollywood. Yes, they have named other artists, claiming that homosexuality was a normal practice in the music industry. He's also claiming that Diddy would walk around the house naked and force him to watch him shower, and is alleging that he went forward and told Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Karam, about this. And Christina came back to him and said, well, you know, Sean will just be Sean.
According to Candace Owens, she believes, and claims to have clear proof, that Diddy was involved with the feds. So apparently, there's a whole lot more to this than meets the eye. It's not hard to connect the dots. Well, folks, it's time to connect the dots, because the evidence is pretty darn clear. Meek Mill, yeah, he's definitely a Philly rapper who had a thing with Nicki Minaj from 2015 to 2017. And Usher, well, he's been making headlines lately for his wildly successful Vegas residency, raking in over $100 million. And let's not forget his recent Super Bowl performance. Now, let's circle back to Rodney's lawsuit, where things get even more jaw-dropping. According to Rodney, he witnessed Usher and Puff getting cozy multiple times, swapping spit with the girls that Young Miami and Justin allegedly brought for Diddy's pleasure. Rodney vividly remembers one wild night on Diddy's yacht, where both Meek and Usher were reportedly getting friendly with several girls. But here's where it takes a darker turn. The lawsuit alleges that Meek, aboard Diddy's yacht, was consorting with young girls in Sears. Yep, you heard that right. And remember when I mentioned Puffy spilling the beans to Rodney about coercing Stevie J into some intimate encounters? Well, it seems like Stevie wasn't the only one in Sean's sights. According to Rodney, Diddy explicitly confessed to him that he'd also gotten intimate with Usher and Meek on multiple occasions. The lawsuit doesn't mince words, stating Mr. Combs informed Mr. Jones that he had engaged in intercourse with rapper, redacted, an R&B singer, redacted, and Stevie J. Needless to say, folks were beyond disgusted by these revelations, and they didn't waste a second before taking to social media to air their grievances and drag these names through the mud. Meek went on a Twitter rampage, firing off a barrage of tweets in a frantic attempt to salvage his reputation. But let me tell you, folks weren't buying what he was selling. He started off with, "I would trash any celebrity if they tried a wild move on me. No pics, literally go crazy on them, that is all. I'm from Philly, man. All my guys always watch me around this wild industry." Then he went on to blame the black blog sites for trying to paint him as something he's not, claiming they're out to destroy the image of black leaders. But here's where it gets even more heated. Meek got into a full-blown Twitter war with DJ Academics, who was just doing his job reporting the news. Can you believe it? Attacking someone for simply reporting. Madness. Now, it took Meek hours before he even addressed the allegations head-on. When he finally did, he said, "I'm from Philly. I don't do coke or freaky-ass Molly. Nobody won't even offer me coke because I'm that heavy. No man or woman would ever approach me about gay activity, and the whole place don't get flipped. Woke up seeing this on every blog like they know I'm coming. LOL." But let me tell you, after this meltdown, people backed off for a bit. It was crystal clear that Meek was on the verge of a mental breakdown, and folks didn't want to push him over the edge any further. But all of that consideration went out the window when an audio was leaked that involved Puffy and Meek. Rumors started swirling that Puffy may have played a hand in silencing Meek's sudden outburst. Some whispered that Meek's unexpected silence after his Twitter tirade wasn't just a coincidence. They speculated that Puffy might have pulled some strings to hush Meek up, reminding him of who holds the power in their circle. People began connecting the dots, wondering if Meek's abrupt change in tone was a result of Puffy's influence. Perhaps reminding him of the consequences of speaking out against the higher-ups in the industry. Some even suggested that Puffy might have had a direct hand in coercing Meek into staying quiet, using whatever means necessary to keep him in line. So when Candace says that Puff has a lot of influence and support from the inside, it looks like she might be onto something. And that's not even all that she had to say. She brought another horrible piece of news to the table that incriminated Puff into something more. She threw out a question that hung in the air, hinting at something bigger, something sinister lurking behind Michael Jackson's death and the probable involvement of Sean Combs in it. She confessed something that had us all leaning in closer. Despite brushing off conspiracy theories about Jackson's demise before, she was singing a different tune now. According to Candace, her whole perspective had flipped after stumbling upon what she called the D documents. These bad boys supposedly contained some seriously damning stuff about a blackmail ring operating right in the heart of Hollywood. Picture this: artists being coerced into sketchy situations at parties, then secretly filmed, sometimes even doing illegal stuff with minors. Yeah, it's as dark as it sounds. But here's where it gets even spookier. Candace started drawing lines between these jaw-dropping allegations and the twisted tales of folks like Jeffrey Epstein. She even spilled about this Bitcoin millionaire who allegedly revealed similar schemes before meeting a suspicious end. As she peeled back the layers of this twisted conspiracy, Candace didn't hold back. She called out the media and the authorities, painting a picture of a twisted web of power and manipulation. And then she dropped the bombshell. There might just be a ring out there willing to do anything, even murder, to keep its dirty secrets safe. And guess what? Big names like Diddy might be caught up in all of it, covering up their tracks like pros. So, buried within those documents is the name of a man who's basically the go-to guy for cleanups. You know, the one you call when things go south. His name? Fahim Muhammad. According to these papers, Mr. Combs, aka Diddy, tells his staff to dial up Mr. Muhammad if they ever find themselves in a jam with the cops in Miami or California. And here's where it gets juicy. These instructions supposedly relate to a shooting incident at Chalice Recording Studios, where Puff and his son are accused of pulling the trigger. After the shooting, the documents claimed that Mr. Muhammad had a chat with the LAPD. And get this, the LAPD, who supposedly saw the blood in the studio restroom, went along with the story that the shooting happened outside, all thanks to Mr. Muhammad's connections in law enforcement. It's like you call this guy, and poof, the problem disappears, and the media spins the story to cover up the crime. Allegedly, of course.
So this new lawsuit just came out that shows tons of evidence that P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, has been running a sexual blackmail operation very much like Jeffrey Epstein, but in the rap and music industry for basically 30 years. And in that lawsuit, we learned that his head of security while he's running this sexual blackmail ring is this guy named Fahim Muhammad, who before working for Diddy was the head of security for Michael Jackson when he was only 21. And he was one of the first people on the scene when Michael Jackson.
Now, if Michael Jackson passed away in 2009, why was a recent college graduate with a degree in business administration suddenly in charge of his security? It's a question that raises more than a few eyebrows. Instead of digging deeper into these suspicious circumstances, they often push certain narratives without considering the full picture. Take Michael Jackson, for example. Despite the lack of evidence, the media relentlessly painted him as a pedophile, shaping public opinion with sensational headlines and biased reporting. But let's not forget the other narrative they tried to push, that Michael Jackson was an anti-Semite. Sure, he kept a list of industry figures he considered enemies, and yes, many of them happened to be Jewish. But was this evidence of anti-Semitism, or was it a manifestation of Jackson's paranoia and distrust of those around him? Despite multiple investigations by the FBI and other agencies, no evidence of child molestation was found during any of the probes. And get this, after his death, Jackson's estate actually sued 2 individuals for fabricating claims of abuse, and their cases were dismissed due to lack of evidence. In fact, one of them was found to be actively lying to bolster their lawsuit. It's clear that the criminal evidence against Jackson was non-existent, yet the public was fed a different story. Now, here's where it gets really wild. There's evidence suggesting that top music industry executives were gunning for Jackson. In 2003, he was preparing to blow the lid off the industry's dirty secrets, including the use of child and sexual blackmail. But guess who was advising him on the night of his arrest? None other than the president of Sony Music, a significant figure given Jackson's long-standing feud with the company's head, Tommy Mottola. Let's circle back to Fahim Muhammad, the man in charge of Jackson's security at the time. Here's a tidbit the press conveniently left out. Muhammad was a convicted felon for dealing crack cocaine. So, Jackson, the world's biggest star, swaps out his security team for a guy with a criminal record, and Sony's top brass is present during his arrest. Add to this the fact that Jackson's massive debt to Sony magically vanished upon his death, and things start to look suspiciously murky. The timeline here is baffling. Jackson faces a high-stakes legal battle, switches up his security detail, and then, despite being acquitted, quietly fades from the spotlight until his untimely demise. It's a tangled web of intrigue and unanswered questions that continues to baffle and captivate to this day. Now, if you look at the connection between these two, it definitely makes it sound like Puff was involved in a lot of other shady stuff as well. So, what do you think? Could it be that Puff was involved in all of this other stuff and got away with it because of his alleged involvement with the feds? Let us know in the comments below, and if you liked this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos.